From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
National orientation, Mohammed Idris emphasized the imperative of safeguarding journalists from harassment, threats and violence while performing their duties. Speaking alongside the Minister of Environment, Malaria, at a joint press conference in Abuja, the Information Minister highlighted the pivotal role of the media in tackling climate change.
This joint press conference by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, the Minister of Environment, and representatives of the United Nations is to mark the 2024 World Press Freedom Day in Abuja. The theme for this year is a press for the planet, journalism in the face of environment crisis, which emphasizes the role of the media in environmental protection.
Press freedom is indispensable to promote transparency, accountability, and social justice, which are critical to communicating the threats posed by climate crisis and making informed decisions to be more environmentally responsible.
No effective climate action is possible without access to free and reliable scientific information. That's why this year's themes highlights the essential link between protecting freedom of expression, a public good, and preserving our planet.
Although the focus of this year's Press Freedom Day is the environment, participants also reflect on the safety of journalists in the line of duty.
It is our conviction that press freedom is not just a fundamental human right. It is also essential for environmental sustainability. We must reaffirm our unwavering commitment to protecting the rights of journalists and ensuring their safety and security.
According to the International Federation of Journalists, at least 2,658 journalists have been killed in the line of duty between the year 1990 and 2020. The report lists Iraq, Mexico, the Philippines, and India as the most dangerous places to practice journalism. Similarly, a report by the International Press Institute reveals that at least 25 journalists were killed in sub-Saharan Africa between 2019 and 2022. As the world marks this year's Press Freedom Day, it is important that governments, individuals, and organizations prioritize the safety of media practitioners, if not for any reason, for the pivotal role they play in environmental safety.
Meanwhile, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors have urged government at all levels to stop using repressive and anti-media laws such as the Cybercrimes Act and some codes of the National Broadcasting Commission to target, intimidate, and harass journalists, critics, and media houses. In a joint statement after an interactive session to mark the World Press Freedom Day, the two organizations say the government of President Bola Tinubu, the country's 36 governors, and FCT minister must now genuinely uphold press freedom, ensure access to information to all Nigerians, obey court judgments, and respect the rule of law. The statement reads in part, quote, "We urge the federal government to review laws like the Official Secrets Act, Criminal Code Act, and Cybercrime Act for potential restrictions on free speech and press, and amend them in line with international human rights standards and agreements, including the Windhoek Declaration for the Development of a Free, Independent, and Pluralistic Press. We urge the federal government to strengthen the independence of regulatory bodies like the National Broadcasting Commission and Nigerian Press Council, the NPC, to ensure impartial regulation and promote self-regulation within the media." SERAP and the Nigerian Guild of Editors add that they will continue to speak truth to power and hold authorities to account for their constitutional and international obligations, including on freedom of expression and media freedom. Dozens of protesters from Zamfara State today occupied the entrance to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, calling on the commission to reopen investigations on the former governor, Bello Matawalle. The protesters, under the auspices of APC Loyalists Forum, are asking the EFCC to investigate all petitions against the former governor, including the alleged contract diversion of up to the tune of 70 billion naira during his tenure as governor of the state. Director of Public Affairs of the EFCC, who received the protest letter on behalf of the chairman, assured the protesters that the commission is determined to pursuing every corruption case to a logical conclusion.
We are here to appeal to the commission to reopen or to continue the case or against the former Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle and now the Minister of Defense on a case of 70 billion naira siphoned during his term as a governor of Zamfara State. The money that were allegedly meant for contracts, different companies receive the money and later you are directed to return the money after changing it to US dollars. And the then Director of Public Affairs of EFCC also affirmed it then on the case. So after his tenure, we realized that maybe the case is down. So that's why we appeal to the EFCC to reopen and continue the case, which we are very sure the current EFCC chairman don't close cases. And he will make sure everybody, that nobody is above the law. We are just here today in solidarity with the APC Akida Forum, who are also here on the same issue and on the same case. I'm appealing to the EFCC for the continuation of this case. Just as the EFCC is taking bold steps on the former governor of the state, they should continue and make sure the fate of Nigerians is not data and make sure the country is corrupt-free.
To the courts now, Justice Joseph Oyewole of the Court of Appeal Abuja has granted an ex parte motion for stay of proceedings filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, against the contempt proceedings commenced by the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. The former governor had filed the contempt of court against the chairman of the commission, Ola Olukoyede, who was summoned to appear before the Kogi State High Court on May the 13th this year to show cause why he should not be committed to prison for disobeying the orders of the court. In the ruling, the Court of Appeal granted the EFCC's application to serve the processes in the appeal by substituted means on the former governor. The court consequently adjourned the hearing of the motion on notice till May the 20th this year. Staying with the courts, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, has filed an additional proof of evidence against the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Mr. Emefiele and his co-defendant, Henry Omoile, are facing trial on a 26-count charge before a Lagos High Court. The trial was, however, stalled after his lawyers sought an adjournment following the service of additional proof of evidence. The prosecution team, led by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Rotimi Oyedepo, had told the judge that the witness was in court for the continuation of his testimony. He also told the court that he had served on the defense team the statements of the fifth prosecution witness, Mr. John Adetola, as an additional proof of evidence. But counsel to the former CBN governor, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Olalekan Ojo, objected to the continuation of proceedings. He told the court that Mr. Emefiele had not seen the documents just served on him by the prosecution and urged the court to grant an adjournment to enable him study the documents and adequately prepare for the defense of his client. The counsel to the second defendant, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Adeyinka Kotoye, also aligned himself with this submission. He asked the court not to entertain trial by ambush and to put a stop to it. The trial judge, Justice Raman Shodi, granted the adjournment after he agreed with the defense team that the reasons given for the adjournment had merit. The judge adjourned till May the 9th for continuation of the cross-examination of the second prosecution witness, John Ayo, a former Director of Information Technology with the CBN. To eradicate malaria, Nigeria and the global community must reinvent approaches to address the constraints that hinder the efficient delivery of existing key malaria control strategies. Now, this is the position of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, at a ministerial roundtable meeting with global leaders and development partners with the theme, Rethinking Malaria Elimination in Nigeria.
Nigeria's Ministry of Health says it's been over 70 years since Nigeria began its fight against malaria. In times past, the government has rolled out different strategies to eliminate the disease. Yet, Nigeria still bears 30% of the global burden. Therefore, it is crucial to reconsider Nigeria's approach to malaria elimination. The Ministers of Health, global partners and other stakeholders are gathered here for this roundtable engagement to re-evaluate the various strategies deployed in the past with a view to providing a more strategic approach that will facilitate the elimination of the disease in Nigeria for good.
Yes, we have made progress, but we are not satisfied with where we are. So as we hold this roundtable, we should think, how can we be more efficient in deploying the resources, technical, human, and material resources to do better?
It's time to turn the tide on this ancient killer. Significant, sustained investments in malaria control will not only save lives from this one disease, they will make a huge dent in child and maternal mortality in Nigeria.
The resilient system strengthening for malaria elimination is pertinent in the minds of stakeholders here. This panel session focused on implementing malaria interventions through a sector-wide approach, advancing local manufacturing and malaria financing.
The only way we can take ownership to be able to close this gap is for local companies, local pharmaceutical companies and life science companies to be able to take ownership, to be on the driver's seat in the area of prophylactic.
Manufacturing for pharma is not is a highly skilled activity, so we're trying to bring in the necessary instrument, but also the partnerships to provide that training. We're focusing on attracting R&D because technology is actually big on this.
And I can't imagine a more propitious environment than Nigeria, where you have, I believe, a kind of population, and I believe you have in the Nigerian diaspora people who are involved in manufacturing, and most of all, you have the determination and the capacity of your regulatory body.
The pivotal role of primary healthcare in malaria elimination was also highlighted.
They are in the communities, they're seeing cases, it's being tracked back, we can see to get more accurate information. There's a lot of conversation earlier today about the quality of the data and just being able to make decisions based on true information. So that would really help us to get a sense of our disease burden and trends, so we know what's working and what's not working.
In his closing remarks, the Minister of Health declared that the federal government's approach to fighting malaria would not be business as usual. He then reeled out his 9-point action plan. They are: introduction of the adversary on malaria elimination in Nigeria, introduction of vaccines, optimizing case management, relentless focus on operational excellence, amplifying community action, data, accountability and learning, local production, climate change and health, and innovation. While these are ambitious plans, Nigerians are waiting with optimism to see to its implementation so that malaria is gone for good. Victoria Longjohn for Channels Television News.
In part 2 after the break, President Bola Tinubu to commission 3 critical gas infrastructure projects undertaken by the NNPCL and its partners. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. As Nigeria joins the global community to commemorate World Press Freedom Day, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris emphasizes the need to safeguard journalists from harassment, threats and violence. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission files additional proof of evidence against former Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele in the abuse of office suit filed against him. Zenith Bank throws its weight behind breaking business transaction barriers and boosting intra-African trade with a signing of agreement between the African Continental Free Trade Area and ZenPay Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of Zenith Bank plc. And UK Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron says it is up to Ukraine to decide how to use British weapons and insisted it has the right to strike targets on Russian territory. So let's head to the nation's capital now, where Gloria Umezioke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria. Great to see you again.
The Kaduna Book and Arts Festival was established in 2017 to celebrate literature, art and culture, as well as discover new creatives in northern Nigeria. The festival continues to bring together a diverse array of writers, artists and enthusiasts from across the country and beyond. It's considered a testament to the dynamic cultural tapestry of the state, showcasing the city's rich heritage and its contribution to the literary and artistic landscapes.
When creative people slog through months and years of stitching words together, painting or filmmaking, it is life-affirming when they can gather together with like-minded individuals to express themselves, to network and to commune.
With a blend of young and old talent, the festival ensures that the magic of storytelling and creativity reaches as many people as possible. Governor Odu'a seized the opportunity to highlight his administration's commitment to education, often described as a leveler and a tool for mental and economic liberation. While describing the high rate of out-of-school children in Kaduna as totally unacceptable, Governor Sani announces the launch of an initiative targeted at curbing the menace of out-of-school children and upgrading of infrastructure in schools.
We are frontally tackling the key challenges in the educational sector in Kaduna State in 6 ways: improving access, building and rehabilitating education infrastructure, to enhance conducive learning environment, building capacity of teachers, harnessing the capacity of ICT to improve access, quality and management of education, prioritizing girl-child education, and strengthening security in the state.
The highlight of the event is the display of books written by Nigerian authors as well as artworks.
Spoke about some of the artists that are originally from Kaduna that have now received some kind of international recognition. So we're very proud of that, and I can say that we have really achieved our goals, but there's still a lot to be done.
Beyond the showcase, organizers of the Kaduna Book and Arts Festival say it is deeply rooted in community engagement and empowerment. Workshops, mentorship programs, and outreach initiatives that are integral parts of fostering an environment where aspiring writers and artists can learn, grow, and contribute to the cultural wealth of Kaduna State and northern Nigeria.
The Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Omo Eno, has commissioned the 3.3 Odu'a Road in the oil-rich city of Eket with a promise to ensure even development in all parts of the state. The road was part of projects built for commissioning to mark the one-year anniversary of his administration in the state.
The people of Eket defied the early morning downpour to register their excitement and appreciation for the construction of this road. Men, women and youths are gathered to welcome the governor and his entourage to the event.
We welcome our dear governor and members of his entourage.
The commissioner an overview of the project.
We are here to commission 2 major projects. Your Excellency, the Afianced Reclamation Project. That road was totally cut off. You can see from the diagram there. And what we did was to construct 3-meter double cell culverts that takes away all the water. And this culvert is 18 meters wide, Your Excellency. And that road has been 200 meters have been totally restored.
In their goodwill messages, some stakeholders of the area expressed appreciation to the governor for the projects.
We want to say thank you very much. The women are full of joy. They can do their trade, they can go to the market, they can go to Ruapionituk, they can go to Ruadinyang without much stress.
I want to say thank you for yesterday. I want to say thank you for today. I want to say thank you for tomorrow already. You know, before you leave today, in the words of Oliver Twist, for what you have done, we will keep asking for more.
Governor Odu'a Investment thanks the people for cooperating with the contractors to ensure the successful completion of the projects. He promises more for the people.
For me, coming to Eket is always coming back home. Like I said, I came here today, I'm 60 plus now. It means I came here 30 years ago and I've lived amongst you. I thank you for the hospitality, I thank you for the reception, I thank you for the care. And that's why whenever I come here, I feel very much at home. And we thank you for the cooperation you have given to us. Thank you for your votes and thank you for your support.
The governor also commissioned emergency intervention work on the collapsed bridge at Afia Nsets Road, Eket, and laid the foundation for the official residence of the chairman of Eket local government area.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission unbundles Transmission Company of Nigeria, establishes the Nigerian Independent System Operator of Nigeria. That's on Business News. Please join us again.
Welcome back. The River State government, in collaboration with the Bank of Industry, has launched a 4 billion naira loan scheme for small and medium-scale businesses in the state. A total of 3,066 entrepreneurs, including non-indigents and the physically challenged persons, were successfully screened as beneficiaries for the loan, which comes at a single-digit interest rate of 7.5% per annum. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, speaking at the launch, highlighted the important role of SMEs in propelling socio-economic development in the state.
The Obiwali International Conference Center in Port Harcourt, River State, is filled with prospective beneficiaries as the River State government, in partnership with the Bank of Industry, launches the disbursement of a 4 billion naira matching funds loan scheme to support nano, small, and medium-scale businesses in the state. The managers of the scheme say the loan facility will provide flexible financing options at favorable interest rates and repayment terms to address the financial constraints currently faced by SMEs.
The loan scheme interest rate is 7.5% per annum on reducing balance basis. This is the cheapest fund today in this country, and we are so excited for this opportunity you have given to businessmen and women to grow their business.
The MD CEO of the Bank of Industry, Olashukwu Olusi, is represented by the bank's Executive Director, Corporate Services, Hussein Effiong, who expresses enthusiasm about the collaboration.
We are indeed very positive that this relationship, which is just starting now, will culminate to the socio-economic development of River State, create jobs for the teeming youths who are the major beneficiaries of this scheme, and help check some of the vices in the country.
3,666 beneficiaries from the 23 local government areas, including non-indigents and the physically challenged, are presented with checks to invest and expand their investment in crop, livestock and fish farming, as well as in other sectors of the economy.
By empowering our people to cultivate available economic opportunity, access to credit is a powerful tool for achieving financial security and prosperity. This was why we allocated and sustained funds in our 2024 budget to support entrepreneurial development and growth of small and medium-scale businesses in the state.
Some entrepreneurs who passed the screening exercise speak on the initiative.
This will go a long way for me because I will also empower other people to work with me, to employ people to work with me, and also expand my business.
I know by the time I pay this one, I know I will still receive more. I'll have that advantage to apply more.
With the launch of the 4 billion naira loan scheme, Governor Fubara says River State is poised to become a hub for innovation and economic growth.
Zenith Bank has thrown its weight behind breaking business transaction barriers and boosting intra-African trade within the continent with the signing of agreement between the African Continental Free Trade Area and ZenPay Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of Zenith Bank PLC. The pact is for the development and implementation of Smart AFCTA portal, which the management says will, among other things, provide seamless and cheaper process of conducting trade among African countries, or African businesses rather, via a digital platform.
We're very happy to have you with us.
It's a historic day as an agreement is set to be formalized between African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat and ZenPay Limited for the development and implementation of Smart AFCTA portal.
We really appreciate the collaboration that we've had over.
Top management of Zenith Bank, led by the Group Managing Director, as well as the AFCTA team, led by the Secretary General, are on the ground for the event.
The most significant aspect of this platform that we are also building is that it provides a seamless and cheaper process of conducting trade among African businesses via a digital platform.
In order to optimize the offerings of this one-stop solution platform, tech giant Microsoft will be deploying its expertise in building and designing the solution.
We're super excited to be the technology partner and a strategic partner for this laudable initiative, which will not only open up opportunities for Africa, but also enable growth and development within the Africa ecosystem.
The GMD of Zenith Bank believes this project, wholly financed by the bank, is required to turn around the continent's current economic position.
You will realize that intra-African trade, that is Africa trading within themselves, is less than 20%, which means 80% of the African trade is going out. Because today, an average African that is in need of anything you can't find in your economy, the first thing you need to do is to begin to ask, can I find it in Asia? Can I find it in Europe? There's never that dispensation for you to say, can I look within Africa if I can find what I'm looking for? That is what this smart portal stands to achieve for us.
And this is an exciting prospect for the AFCTA Secretary General.
I am very proud of the partnership that we have with Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank is the first bank that approached us and said, as I mentioned earlier, and said, we want to partner with you, we want to collaborate, because we believe in the vision of an integrated continent and an integrated market.
And finally, the deal is signed, sealed, and now awaits delivery. In the coming months, when this platform comes alive, parties to the agreement would hope African businesses would make the most of its numerous offerings.
And for more business news, here's Will Ibom. Will.
Thank you, Ayotunde. Now, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, has taken a significant step by unbundling the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and establishing the Nigerian Independent System Operator of Nigeria Limited, NISO. According to NEC, this move entails TCN transferring all market and system operation functions to the newly formed entity. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE, has been instructed to incorporate a private company limited by shares under the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA, by May the 31st. The new ISO will not only manage market and system operations, but also engage in procurement of ancillary services and uphold the interest of market participants and system users in line with regulatory provisions. Now, underinvestment in the telecom sector will bring about economic decay, and that's according to renowned economist Mr. Bismarck Ruwani. Mr. Ruwani's point of view comes as telcos renew push for first tariff hike in 11 years to offset rising costs. Mr. Ruwani, who was a guest on Politics Today, says there is a need for telco pricing to reflect current realities.
In the year 2022 alone, the 16% of all corporate income tax in this country came from the telco sector. This year, it's 0 because they've declared losses. If it continues next year, you can imagine the effect on corporate income tax, the effect on the Consolidated Revenue Fund, and the effect on what is shared amongst the federal, state governments, and local governments. It is going to be a major calamity. We can't afford to do it. So what do we need to do? Reprice this tariff so that they can make profits that will make them pay taxes that the governments will use to pay for medical service, health, transportation, education, and so that's it. It's a no-brainer. But if you don't do it, you have three options: do nothing, which will limp to death; do the wrong thing, which will cause immediate calamity; or do the right thing, and then you will see the effect of that. It's not even a question to be discussed. It's not when, it's not if, it is when, and it must be done immediately.
The second annual general meeting of the Strategic Investment and Asset Management Firm in Lagos. In his address, Group Chairman Odu'a Ashiru expresses satisfaction with improved collaboration and synergy within the group and leveraging shared services, cross-selling, joint marketing, and astute business innovation.
Odu'a Investment Company Limited.
Odu'a Investment Company Limited, made up of the 6 southwestern states, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Oyo, Ekiti, and Osun, have their representatives, board members of the company, and other stakeholders here after due process has been observed.
We have therefore implemented succession planning capacity.
Presided over by the chairman, Odu'a Ashiru, the meeting delves into the business of the day, but not before handling some housekeeping issues.
In 2023, we initiated a competitive process to appoint a successor for our current Group Managing Director, Mr. Wale Raji. As a testament of our efforts in the area of succession plan, the process produced Mr. Abdurrahman Unisa, current Chief Investment Officer, as the Group Managing Director designate.
The Group Managing Director then shares his report.
In real terms, after stripping off revaluation gains arising from my investment property portfolio, OICF profit for year 2023 actually increased by 62% to 1.772 billion.
And then to the dividends.
For the financial year ended 31st December 2023, the gross dividend of 427.8 is proposed to be declared for the financial year. If you approve, the proposed dividend will be paid to all shareholders.
Directors' fees, remuneration, and other items were also proposed, moved, and approved. The incoming Group Managing Director now has the responsibility to improve the numbers before a similar meeting next year.
A lot has happened in terms of setting the stage for us to be able to grow the business. So what we're looking for is to now use opportunities to get more partners to work with us and be able to become the engine room for the economic development of the Southwest region.
Odu'a Investment, which is involved in hospitality, real estate, among other areas of businesses, says the company will continue expanding its horizon to better the economy of the southwestern states.
The domestic stock market ended the last trading day of the week and the first trading day in the month of May with strong bullish sentiment as investors eyed the banking sector. Inijamakwa tells us more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, it does seem like May has come with good tidings because we see the second trading day in the month and the NGX is closing again in the green. For today, it's up 0.83%, bringing the market back to the 99 trillion naira, 99,587.25. And they say if we can go above this and hit 100,000 again, then we may be able to hit a new resistance point. Now, the market gained 467 billion naira. That's why the market cap is back to the 56 trillion naira level, 56.323 trillion naira. And it's all thanks to the most liquid counter, the figures, the big guys on that counter. They've done this. So we see FBN Holding is up more than 8%. UBA also gained. GTCO gained. Accessco is the only down, but that did not stop the positive sentiment we've seen there. Zenith, 5.65%. Now, worrying news about the Fugas, which is just Zenith that is still in the suit class. The stocks with market cap above 1 trillion naira. It's just Zenith, but I mean, I guess that's not so worrying at this time, talking about that market cap. Then we see this in the counters. We see banking is up 4.68%. Obviously, those big guys have moved that. Consumer goods is also up 0.76%, and that's because of Dangote Sugar. After their AGM, we've seen positive sentiments around that. Flour mills also, as well as international brewers. Oil and gas is back in the red, 1.26% down right there. Well, it's a beautiful way to end the week. I'm sure we're going to have a great weekend as the bull settles on the NGX floor.
Thank you, Ine. But before we go to the global markets, we sincerely apologize for the mix-up in the names and the Odu'a Investment Company Limited. We sincerely apologize for that, technical issues. Now let's get a snapshot of closing numbers for the major equities around the world.
Thank you so much, Will. An explosion at the Mugunga IDP camp near Goma, provincial capital of North Kivu in eastern DR Congo, has claimed the lives of 10 persons and left over 20 wounded, including children. The region has seen escalating conflict between the Congolese army and the M23 rebels, with the movement gaining control of territories in North Kivu over the past weeks. Here's Sami Pizu with other international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Turkey has suspended all trade with Israel over its offensive in Gaza, citing the worsening humanitarian tragedy in the Strip. The Turkish Trade Ministry said the measures would be in place until Israel allowed an uninterrupted and sufficient flow of aid into Gaza. Trade between the two countries was worth almost $7 billion last year. Israel's foreign minister accused Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of acting like a dictator. Israel Katz said that Mr. Erdogan was disregarding the interests of the Turkish people and businessmen and ignoring international trade agreements. He added that he had instructed the foreign ministry to find alternatives for trade with Turkey, with a focus on local production and imports from other countries. A hydroelectric dam has collapsed in southern Brazil after days of heavy rains that triggered massive flooding, killing more than 30 people. Officials say another 60 people are missing in Rio Grande do Sul state. Around 15,000 residents have fled their homes since Saturday. At least 500,000 people are without power and clean water across the state. The burst dam triggered a 6'6" wave, causing panic and further damage in the already flooded areas. The dam is located between the municipality of Cortipora and the city of Bento Gonçalves. The extreme weather has been caused by a rare combination of hotter than average temperatures, high humidity and strong winds. Myanmar's military government will no longer allow conscription-age men to travel out of the country for work, weeks after an enlisted order prompted many to try and flee. There were long queues outside foreign embassies in Yangon after hearing the news. Authorities said they would suspend all applications from men for overseas work permits. There is a large diaspora of Myanmar citizens working in other countries in Asia, and previously locals had been allowed to leave for jobs abroad. But the restrictions come as the junta battles increased opposition in the country's ongoing civil war. Liberian President Joseph Boakai has signed an executive order to establish the country's first war crimes court more than 20 years after the end of 2 civil wars which killed 250,000 people. Mr. Boakai said Liberia had endured downpours of agony. The 1989 to 2003 conflicts saw atrocities including mass killings, rape and the forced recruitment of child soldiers. Critics in Liberia have opposed the creation of the court, saying it risks reopening old wounds. One of Ireland's top universities has fined its students' union £183,000 over holding protests on campus, including pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Trinity College Dublin cited a loss of income as a result of recent blockades of the Book of Kells tourist attraction. Students have demonstrated against the university's response to the war in Gaza, as well as proposed course fee hikes and increased accommodation costs. It comes as police in the US have detained more than 2,000 people nationwide in the past fortnight at college rallies and protest camps. Sales of iPhones have fallen in almost every market across the globe. That's according to the latest results from Apple. The technology giant said overall demand for its smartphones dropped by more than 10% in the first 3 months of the year, with sales falling in every geographic region except for Europe. Apple said that overall revenues across the company declined by 4%. The company said the figures were distorted by COVID-related supply disruptions. It pledged that sales would return to growth in the months ahead. And China has launched a probe to collect samples from the far side of the moon in what is being billed a world first.
5、4、3、2、1，点火！
An unmanned rocket carrying the Chang'e 6 probe blasted off from the Wenchang Space Launch Center. The 53-day mission aims to bring around 2 kilograms of lunar samples to Earth for analysis. It will try to relaunch from the side of the moon facing away from the Earth. This is described as the dark side of the moon because it is invisible from Earth, not because it does not catch the sun's rays. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you so very much, and thank you, Simon. The stage is set for the WBO World Cruiserweight title showdown between Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe on Saturday, June the 15th at Selhurst Park, the home of Crystal Palace Football Club. At the official announcement ceremony in London, boxing promoter Ben Shalom confirmed it will be a historic night of British boxing. Then Andrei Rublev has reached the 5th Masters 1000 final of his career with a 6-4, 6-3 win over American Taylor Fritz at the Madrid Open in 1 hour 12 minutes earlier today. The 7-seeded Rublev arrived at the tournament carrying a 4-match losing streak, but rebounded in the Spanish capital, claiming 5 impressive wins, including one over world number 3 Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinals.
Andrei Rublev books his ticket to a...
That's it on sport. It's back to you, Ayo Tunde.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, today emphasized the need to safeguard journalists from harassment, threats and violence while performing their duties.